Hi, my name is Sally, and I'm dealing with a really messed up problem. My boyfriend, or rather my ex-boyfriend, got my mom pregnant. I had been dating Mark for over a month when my mom finally met him. I have to admit, I should have noticed something was wrong from the get-go, but I was too trusting. You see, Mark had a glimmer in his eyes when he saw my mother. My mom is a divorcee, and a rather young one at that. She's in her early 40s and takes really good care of herself. Dad left a few years back, and they divorced soon after. I have to admit, I didn't struggle with my parents' divorce for too long. They argued all the time, so it was a big relief when they finally stopped torturing each other. Dad promised he'd see me often, and he always kept his promise. I have a great relationship with him. In fact, he helped me so much through this whole mess. Mom was super friendly toward Mark, and though I found it a bit odd, I figured she was just trying to make me happy. After all, he was my first real boyfriend. I had dated a few guys before that, but never took them home and never made it official. If I had known what a horrible person Mark would turn out to be, I would never have introduced him to my mother. Mom and Mark were so friendly with each other. He'd stay for lunch or dinner, and they'd chat as we all ate together. She chuckled and asked him about his studies, his work, his friends. It sometimes felt kind of awkward, but figured Mom was being nice. My friends would sometimes tease me, since even they would realize what good friends my own mother and my boyfriend seemed to be. I brushed it off, though, as I trusted both of them completely. Plus, Mom was twice Mark's age. He couldn't possibly think she was hot or anything of the sort, right? Wrong. One night, while we were watching a movie, Mark made a remark about how hot a certain older actress was. I found it kind of weird, so I asked him what he thought about my mom. He admitted he thought she was a real beauty, and I was kind of shocked he would say that so openly, especially to her own daughter, who was dating him. I was annoyed, and we got in a bit of an argument, but a few days later, I decided to let the issue go. After all, he just thought she was hot. It wasn't as if he was going to do anything about it. Months went by, and my mom began showing these strange symptoms. She got sick early in the morning, and she felt tired all the time. That was when we both noticed her belly began to swell. Mom didn't even think she could get pregnant any longer, having supposedly entered early menopause. But she was wrong. After a visit to the doctor, she sat me down and let me know I would soon be having a little brother or sister. I was shocked. As far as I knew, she hadn't been dating anyone at all. She never went out at night, and she only hung out with a few friends. After her divorce, Mom had focused all her energy on her work, and though she could have met someone there, I would have known something about it, right? Mom ended up tearfully admitting that she had felt so lonely ever since my dad left her. She told me how the attention Mark gave her made her feel young and beautiful again, that their fling had begun as a silly and innocent flirtation. But soon they were meeting behind my back, and that he was the father. Imagine my shock when I heard her confession. I was furious, barely able to contain my anger. I asked her how she could do that to her own daughter, and she continued to apologize, using the same excuses over and over again. I told her I didn't care how lonely she was. She could have dated anyone in the world, and I would have supported her, but not my boyfriend. I rushed out the door, not interested in hearing any more of her excuses. I needed to talk to Mark straight away and confront him about this whole mess. When I arrived at his place, I immediately snapped at him. I told him I knew everything and that I couldn't believe he could have betrayed me like that. The worst part was his reaction. He was unfazed by my accusations. Mark admitted everything without even apologizing. He told me all his friends thought he was such a stud, dating both a hot daughter and her MILF mother. Mark actually was proud of everything he had done. I'm not ashamed of admitting I slapped him. Hard. He deserved it after everything he did to me. I rushed to my dad's place and told him all about it. He was even angrier than I was. Appalled my mom would do something like that to her own daughter. I moved in with him, since I didn't want to live with my mother any longer. What my mother and Mark did to me completely broke my relationship with her. She calls me often, but I never pick up the phone or answer her texts. I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive her, but I'd like to have a relationship with my baby sister, who will be born in a few more months. So, I'm a bit torn. I suppose I'll have to speak to my mother again, but I'll never forget what she did. As far as Mark goes, you can bet I never talk to him again. Some men are simply not worth the effort at all. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed hearing my nightmare of a story, leave a like and share with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe and check out the other stories on the channel.